think sometimes at these kind of nights we can feel a little bit lost in the crowd. And we love making space to celebrate what we're up to and what's going on for each other at this. So shenanigans. Quick question. Have any of you, let me just quickly share my screen. Ooh, come here, friends. Share screen. Okay, so question. Have any of you ever come across Foley? Show of hands. Wave your hand if you have. Nod, shake your head if you haven't. Absolutely fine. I'm seeing more nods than shakes. So no, actually I'm not. I'm only seeing a few people, but that's totally fine. Foley is sound effects. And it's the art of sound effects. When you are recording stuff for radio drama, even for film, anything else, you have obviously the sound effect team, and it's actually quite an art. Who knew? But you guys will probably come out along with, what's your first probably exposure to sound effects? Horse clopping along. What have we all seen? What do they use for that? Yell it out. Put it in the chat. Your cousin's called Foley, Carol. Okay, I'm sorry, this isn't a presentation about your cousin. I'm so sorry. But what have we got? What do we think? What's your first? Yep, absolutely. Coconut shells, totally right. So completely normally, we're going to play a game of rain or bacon, which is part of the show. It's very short because it's the only thing I can't subtitle. I'm so sorry if this next book means that it's not quite accessible, but it's very short, about 30 seconds. We're going to play a game of rain or bacon. Now, if you didn't know, the sound of rain is actually often emulated by frying bacon. So I'm going to give you 4 sound clips. You are going to put a number for each one, and you're going to say whether you think it's rain or bacon in the chat. Super easy, right? I'll give you a bit of space to do that after every single one. And we'll see how right you are. Which one is it? So let's see how this goes. I do love this word, and I do use it in conversations, whether it's relevant or not. That is very true. So rain or bacon. Okay. See if we can. Oh, sorry. Apparently decided it didn't want to do that too quickly. Let's try that again. There you go. Hold on here. All right, that was number 1. Rain or bacon?
Can't hear anything.
No,
Can't hear it.
Are you sharing your sound by any chance, Ru?
I'm
Ru, are you sharing your sound? Sorry, Ru, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'll
sharing
sound.
When you're sharing, are you optimizing for video and sound?
I hadn't, apparently. We're trying that again, shall we? There we go. Okay, let's pop that on. Try once more. Okay, that was number 1. You have 10 seconds to pop 1/ and whether it's rain or bacon in the chat. Amazing, fantastic. Okay. Thanks for playing, guys. I know this is just ridiculous, but there we are. All right, next one, number 2. All right, that was number 2. Rain or bacon? 2, rain or bacon? Cast your votes. Amazing. All right, next one. All right, that was number 3. Rain or bacon? Was it real? Do we ever know? Fantastic. And final one. All right. All right. Questions. What do we think? Okay, everyone's saying they're hungry. Sorry. I know this is also a really awkward time, isn't it? So a lot of people haven't had their tea. I apologize. I'm sorry that I also managed to get the tech wrong there. Thank you for being patient with me. So we've got rain, bacon, rain. All right. The answer is that they're all bacon, baby. Very, very rarely do we actually have the sound of
I
rain.
said that. I literally said that.
Oh, eternal glory, my friend. Absolutely brilliant. Well done. So yes, if you have guessed mostly bacon, well done, because it is bacon and it does make me feel very hungry. I agree. Fantastic. The final part of it is really quickly see if you can guess which sounds go with which things, objects. So I'm going to show you a quick slide. In the uppercase blue, uppercase capital letters, that's going to be your sounds that we're trying to make. And then in lowercase black, you are going to have what is used to make them. So just choose a few. You don't have to choose all of them, but just which one's which. And then your takeaway for this time is going to be, can you all see that? Great. Fantastic. So these are, so in your big capitals, you've got the sounds. Probably some of them you can probably guess. In the black, you have got the things that we're using for them. So choose a few of your favorites, maybe 3 or 4. Write down which ones do you think match up. And then we will. Angela says, I'm not understanding. I'm so sorry. Okay, so you basically take 4 options. So the big capital letters, horse walking, the sound of grass, sound of walking on skulls in a film. And the objects that are used to make those sounds are in the black. And you need to guess a few of them. There are big grey rectangles over the picture. Why are there
do you have something on the screen? Because we can kind of see like patches of, yeah. So now whatever you're doing, it's like removing those patches away.
Is it better now?
We can still like half, yeah, if you just move it a bit more, I think should be good.
Well, do you know what? We're not going to worry about it then. Don't worry, my loves, because I think it's much more interesting to do poetry. So, quick one is, so walking on skulls. Does anyone have any idea? And then we'll leave it there. Sorry that the tech is not working tonight. Don't know why. Never mind. Any idea the sound of walking on skulls? What do you think you might use for that? If you were a poor Foley artist, someone saying, I've got a very grim kind of warrior's moment. The cave is full of skulls. What would you use to try to make that noise? You've not got any skulls handy. I'm sorry. That's not legal. That's not okay. You may not use skulls. What would you use? Tasmia, you're absolutely right. Aluminium foil was indeed fire. Well done. Very good. Oh, celery is a good option. It's not celery. What might you use if you got, you got your house? Walnuts. Very good, Mel. On fire. On fire. Okay, fantastic. Guys, thank you so much. Alas, I think your takeaway tonight is going to be a bit tricky because I'm afraid there were rectangles all over it. But I would suggest you go listen to some stuff and respond to it this time round. Go for a sound effect. Try to get it into an opening line where your character or it's just in the scene and you have a sound starting you off and see if that gets the juices flowing. But anyway, thank you for playing. Nick says, well, kisses the one with the staple gun because I sense a poem coming on with staple gun kisses. Nick, I'm terrified of you. Why is staple guns involved with kisses? That's very scary. No. Or at least I'm intrigued now. But I think we're going to have to go forth and make a peace with staple gun kisses. Please don't staple gun anybody. And wonderful. Okay, right. Fantastic. In that case, without further ado, shall we go into our second half and have the fabulous Mel to enjoy next? So let me grab my stuff. I'm sorry my computer hasn't been playing ball tonight. It's very rude. Thank you for your patience. I really appreciate that. So let me tell you about Mel as she comes to the microphone. The fabulous Mel. Mel Chilekwa is a Zambian British poet and spoken word artist. She's a regular at Newcastle's spoken word scene, including hosting and producing several poetry events. She balances heavy topics with a sprinkle of levity, passionate about using her voice to raise awareness. Mel has performed at the Baltic, the Northern Stage, and Lindisfarne Festival. She's currently looking forward to performing at Durham and Newcastle Fringe festivals. She's been published in many mediums, including anthologies such as the Joy Us anthology by Arachne Press and the A Up anthology by Written Off Publishing. She will hopefully pop her Instagram in the chat below after she's finished, so you can follow her and get excited. Mel, please take it away.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? Okay. Yay. Okay, I'm kind of fighting with the sun today. I kept having to switch my video on and off because I was like, I kept moving in the sun setting, so it's a whole thing. But yeah, poetry. Okay, yeah, we'll start with the first one if that's okay. I don't know why I said if that's okay. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, it's very weather appropriate, but I actually wrote this one in winter, so yeah, it's called Holiday. They roll their sleeves up to reveal their sun-kissed skin. A smirk plays on their lips as they say, I'm catching up to you. They try on my skin like a new fashion trend, like a fresh haircut, like a phase, turning their radios up to play the latest R&B songs. Their mouths open to claim, I'm blacker than you now. With filler for their lips, continuously getting tan, they try on my skin like the latest craze. Then the news hits. Another Black person abused again. Another Black person used again. Another Black person dead again. Then BLM arises. They say no. Hashtag all lives. They try on my skin and then decide it's not for them. Peeling it off without a care in the world. After all, it was only make-believe. Summer is gone now. They had fun on their holiday. They get to wake up one day and discard my skin with the rest of their trash. Cherry picking only the ripest, only the advantages, only the parts that allow them to say the N-word. They giggle when they ask, where have you been? But they'll never know the weight of the words, where are you from? I cannot choose the best bits. I cannot run from prejudice. I cannot take a vacation from my skin. Thank you. Right, so the next one is called Brave. I wrote this one as a part of this women's workshop, and I did it with Lizzie Lovejoy. It was absolutely a joy to work with her. She's brilliant. So a bit of a backstory to this poem. We were Googling what we as women are called, and our collective noun is gaggle, if you didn't know. And we both hated that, and we both individually wrote poems to sort of be like, what would we call women? And she wrote an amazing poem called Women Would Call Women is a Wave, like the ocean wave, and this is my response. Who are we? What do you call us? Women, sure, although does everything need to be male related? How about females? Yeah, I agree. Ill. Another term piggybacking off men, and that one is even worse. So who are we then? We are mothers, daughters, sisters, listeners, carers, educators, and much, much more. We are love and hope, anger and passion. We are justice. And we're not just this. I could go on and on and on for days. So isn't there a smaller noun on phrase? I looked up in Google, and here is what I found. Our collective noun is gaggle. And that makes me want to gag. Oh. I scrolled some more and found bouquet. Well, okay, I thought that's not much better. Comparing us to a bunch of flowers really isn't clever. I guess it's up to us, as it often is, to define ourselves. And we are beautiful. We are worthy. We've had to claw up claw our way up just to become equals somehow. Some days we are fighters and we've got the scars to prove it. Through all our troubles and trials, we have survived and thrived and taken control of our own lives. Calling us heroic will be accurate. Calling us survivors will be precise. But we have to carve and pave our way despite whatever is say every day. So call us brave. Thank you. Oh gosh, sorry. Water break. Yeah, so this one's called Ask for Angela, and it's a bit self-explanatory, but if you didn't know, bars have this slightly new initiative that if you're going on a first date or you feel uncomfortable for whatever reason, you go to the bar and you ask for Angela, and then they call you a taxi home, which you actually have to pay for, which I thought, is a terrible initiative, and they've got all of these new initiatives to help women with sexual assault, sort of lids for your cups, and you get like this little straw that changes color if you've been drugged. So I got a little bit annoyed at that, and I wrote this poem. I stumbled toward the bar with a crooked smile, pretending that everything is fine for a while. After determining that no one else can hear, my voice slurs as I ask for her, for Angela. From the drinks he gave or from fear, the bartender scrambles for the phone, asks me accusingly why I'm out alone. Why must I give an answer? I should not have to ask for her. The victim is the one punished for his crimes. I am innocent, yet the one doing the time. These responses aren't mine to provide. Sentenced before I even step a foot outside. I must check, double check, triple check while they hand me the rope to tie around my neck. Do I have my torch to shine it bright in his face? I whistle if I cannot scream, just in case. Videos of self-defense lessons on repeat with tips on how to not to freeze when you are beat, location shared constantly, and of course my own anxiety. I want to dress good for me. It's not for men to see. Though if I don't, then I'm ugly, and if it's too good, I'm a slut. He just can't help but touch my butt. It's not his fault that I find myself in a bed that's not mine. I wonder, why must this be a burden that's mine only to bear? Share it with the criminals that don't care when you say no or not yet or anything that's not yes or please more. The one who thinks silence means consent, that if you're too drunk to walk, then you can be bent. I wonder how asking for is that what? Yeah, okay, sorry. I wonder how asking for Angela and the protection lids that I must place over my cup to protect my drink, or maybe you can just not spike it instead, are supposed to help me when, if he really wanted to, he could, and he still does. I wonder when I'll be allowed one night out or even a day without anyone who says that I'm hot or that I'm asking for it when I'm really not. Why can't he be the one that carries the whistle or search how not to assault on Google? Why not, instead of Angela, teach him how not to rape? Is this always going to be my fate? Thank you. I see your comments. Thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate everything that all the feedback that I've been given, and it really helps me write the next poem afterwards. So I am going slightly sadder and slightly more like to my own personal experience. So if you need to like step out for any reason, you can. It's not too sad, but yeah, it's a bit triggering if you've gone through this or you know anyone that's gone through it. So yeah, the next one's called Dull, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I am plastic. No stretch marks or blemishes, my hair forever neat, no bushy eyebrows, face beautifully symmetrical. With a cute button nose, I'm perfect. You want to play with me, take me everywhere, show me off to all your friends. Then, when you're home, you'll put me in the trophy cabinet on the highest shelf. The door hinges are squeaky clean, you've taken me out so often. Each time you grab me a little harder, each time you brush my my hair a little rougher each time you play for me. It's just a little bit more perfect. You blink and suddenly I'm not perfect anymore. You control me, contort me, convince me that I'm better off without you. No one else would want to play with me, especially not now, not after what you've done. You twist my arms until all they know is how to hold you. My legs are in a constant split from how much you've pulled them apart, and there's a hole in between them that wasn't there when you bought me. Once upon a time, I was blemishless. Now I'm filled with scars and bruises and marks, not over all of them visible to the eye. Now I do not satisfy. You discard me, and I am forced to watch helplessly as you replace me with a newer, shinier model. This one is perfect. I stare as you play with her the way you used to play with me. Your gentle caresses, the sweet nothings you whisper in her ear. I wonder how long it will take before you don't want to play with her anymore, too. Thank you. So we are if you had a graph to my palms, it'll probably be a little bit like a bell curve. So we're going down, but then to spoil the end, it is bad versus good. So I start with the bad and then goes to the good. I do have a boyfriend, and he also hates men. So that's basically why we're together right now. So sorry, Nick. I don't think I'm appropriate for your funny poems call out, but I will try. There is a light-hearted poem at the end, which might be funny. Yeah, so this one's a bit of a longer one, and it's sort of based on my own personal relationships and basically how much of a struggle it is to get out of like abusive relationships. I never had the talk. No awkward time on the couch as we discussed the birds and the bees, and honestly, I still don't really fully understand what that means. I've been kept away from the real world for so long, in a bubble created by the ones who birthed me, controlling everything I experience, all I hear and all I see. The more they managed me, the higher I floated, and the higher you climb. I lived in constant fear of the same people that are supposed to protect me for years, not realizing at the time how damaging sheltering can be. Then, at 8 years old, cornered by an adult, hot breath caressing my ear, asking if he knew what was really between my legs, teaching me how it feels to be touched there. And I don't mind, right? If it will feel good soon. An adult versus a child, a truly innocent act. I never said a word. A man using me, that's absurd. Back then, I never learned how damaging sheltering can be. So the most rebellious that I managed was having my very own secret relationship. Great idea. We were both 16 and he said, I love you after a day, and I believed him. He made me feel so special, like staying up all night to make me gifts. You can't eat that, you'll get fat. He made sure I ate right. If I see you with them, I'll kill you. He was so protective, and we never did fight. Okay, we did, but it was my fault, he said, and I believed him. Any attempts to leave involved threat, manipulations, and claiming he'd commit suicide. I was so scared to do anything else that one day I just snapped and ran away. And yes, he is still alive today. So I swore off men, experimented for a while, kissed a girl, but that was totally just a phase, made friends and did everything just to get my parents' praise. I rejected every man who ever glanced my way. So it's my fault then that staring became stalking, not stopping till he's satisfied, till he gets me alone and drunk and between my legs and teaching me how good it feels to be touched there. I don't mind, right? It will feel good soon. A few years later, I got into another relationship, determined to get it right this time. He said, I love you after a day, and I believed him. He made me feel so special, like driving me all the way to London. You can't eat that, you'll get fat. He made sure I ate right. If I see you again, I'll kill you. He was so protective. And we never did fight. And he definitely never hit me. Okay, he did, but it was my fault, he said, and I wait a second here. This all feels strangely familiar. I'm getting the sense of deja vu. If only there was a word for this, almost like a cycle. Like the trauma I experienced as a child was a reflection of my relationships. Well, the bubble finally popped, and the higher you climb, I had to make the choice, my own decision, to break this abusive cycle, and it wasn't easy. I thought once that the trauma defined me. The urge to fall back into the same pattern was too tempting. You start thinking that you're too damaged and broken, that the abuse is deserved. But frankly, that's bullshit. I found the strength in me to finally change my own story, and sure enough, a few years later, I got myself in what I promised myself to be my very last relationship. Old habits die hard, though. But the first time I tried asking him for permission, he said, "You decide," which finally helped me realize that relationships should and can be empowering. It took him like 3 whole years to say, "I love you," and I believe him. Thank you. It's good that he's not here because he hates it when I do poems about him. Okay, so I will leave you with this one. In case you didn't know, I don't really talk about it that often, but I am a secondary school teacher in my sort of day-to-day job. So I had a sort of a bunch of boys come up to me and sort of ask me these ridiculous questions, like, being purposely annoying and saying, "Oh, but women do it too, right?" And so I happily educated them, and they shut the hell up, um, which which enabled me to sort of write this poem. How not to be sexist. Lesson 1. Names. Do not call me darling or sweetheart or pet. Just because I have boobs and a degree, you assume I'm a threat to your way of living. It's giving insecurity. You want to belittle me and call me a pet lame, to put me in my proper lane, which is behind you, beneath you, because who knows better than a man? But no, seriously, you can and should just call me by my name, my proper title. You're not entitled to call me anything else and then act like it's a compliment. Speaking of, lesson 2. Compliments. They say if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. I say maybe just keep that last bit in mind, especially if you find getting yourself increasingly more defensive when we respond to a comment you've made on how we look. What makes you think we took the time of our day finding our own way to express ourselves just to hear your opinion? What brought on this baseless assumption? Don't say anything if you're not being genuine. Lesson 3. Entitlement. Some questions for you. How many doors do you have to open for me to spread my legs for you? Should I mark your work and give you a grace, praise you and say, "I'm so amazed"? Do I give you a gold star for every drink you buy me at the bar? Do you not understand that you have to go that far to be a good man? You are, in fact, the opposite. Being a decent person doesn't need any benefit. If you're going on about misandry and not all men, if you're that desperate to prove or say you're a nice guy, then hi, it's you. You are the problem. Lesson 4. Jokes. I know it's hard to believe, and well, women often have issues being believed, but jokes are supposed to be funny. If both of us aren't laughing, then it's not a joke. If you're still saying women belong in the kitchen, then brush it off, say, "Oh, no offense," and tell us we're just bitching, then it's not a joke. If you're desperate to touch my hair or poke fun at women just to get their attention, it's not funny. It's not clever. Let us decide how we want to be treated. Get a grip. Do better. And finally, lesson 5. Our choice. Abortion is our choice. What we wear is our choice. How we speak, in what tone, who we give our phone number to is our choice. You cannot speak for any woman. You can't spout fiction as if it's a given or act like you're doing us some kind of favor when you publicly put an end to sexist behavior and then behind closed doors get repulsed by your partner bleeding down there. You do not get a voice. It's our bodies, our minds, and it is our choice. Thank you so much for having me, everybody.
Please unmute yourselves and go absolutely wild for the fabulous Mel. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mel. That was brilliant. We only have 2 more readers tonight, which is so sad. I'm always sad at this point, but they're fabulous. So no sadness at all. Let me introduce you to Peggy as she comes to the microphone. Peggy, you still okay to go next? Fantastic. All right then. So
yes, I'm fine.
Brilliant. You can. So I'm going to let Peggy introduce herself, but this is something that she says about the piece that she's going to share. Attached to the poem "Born from Seed Sown" at Carmen's workshop, which is one of the workshops that we do with Tees Women Poets. It did not take the direction I thought it would, but that's what I love about writing poetry. Give it legs, and it finds its own direction. Very sage advice. Take it away, Peggy.
Super. Yeah, as I said, this was from Carmen's workshop. An absolutely wonderful, wonderful woman, part of Tees Women Poets. I became part of TWOOMPH, Tees Women Poets, last summer with Aisha. We did the summer boot camp last year, which was just fantastic. So I've been to a few events and done a few things. And as I said, this was sown from the seed. I think if we asked Carmen, she wouldn't even recognise that these were seeds sown from her workshop. But yeah, as I said, I start to write and then it takes its own direction. I'd like to say quite a happy, jolly person, but sometimes my poetry just takes an odd and dark turn. So yeah, and this one really quite follows on from the lovely Mel's poetry as well. And I do apologise to Nick Edwards. He might feel like he's getting a bashing at the moment, but we do love men, really. This poem is called, there it is, "The Tears I Shed at the Hands of Patriarchy." It's not the subject matter of the words that matter, more the force of the words and the power they scatter. A social construct of power and privilege, disparity abound, inequality, fed by culture, media, and ignorance, perpetuates the stereotypes, pigeonholed and labelled, deprived and dehumanized, oppress and objectify, keeps the men in charge. Control of nature, a mother's gift to nurture the beauty and magic of birth. Restrict the autonomy, make the beauty unsafe. Drip feed doubt, take the shine off the magic. Think on, our future depends on hers. This began with the binding of nomadic norms, a shift and a tying to the fields, a chain round the ankle slipped on to women as the girls and the boys looked on. Children watch and expect their fate, stay frail and pale, and bear offspring each year. Toil in the fields and go strong, brown no fear. To live and to breathe is to say we believe, not quite ready to stand and be counted. The horror continues at the hands of the privileged. Demonstrate your dominance, normalize the violence, justify your place and position. Let the women stand and gaze from the ground, look up at the gilded ladder. High five to the men who are lending a hand. But let's celebrate the advocates, the tireless role models. My tears that fall are part of a bigger picture. At the heart, it's not based on gender. Let it fall down my cheek and see the glisten it makes, that a reindeer drank from a crystal clear lake. Down to my chin and ready to fall like the water that fell from a full summer cloud, just before coloured rainbow graced the sky. Think on, our future depends on hers. Thank you. I only have one, Sorry.
Never apologize. That is your space to do as you will, and you filled it beautifully. Thank you, Peggy. Oh,
Thank
amazing.
you.
Utterly glorious. Thank you so much. That is brilliant. Okay, our final reader of the night. Let me tell you about her as she comes to the microphone. Finola, thank you so much for courageously going last. We appreciate you. Finola Scott confesses she writes compulsively. Her poems are published widely: New Writing Scotland, Lighthouse, Ink, Sweat and Tears. Although she knows poetry won't change the world, excuse me, yes it will. She keeps writing and performing. Winner of the McDermott Tassie, runner-up in the McLelland competition, 3 publications to date. Hopefully, please pop your socials in the chat when you've got a moment. Absolutely wonderful to have you finishing off today. Take it away.
I'd like to go now. Hello.
Hello, can you see everything?
Yeah, I can see it. Have I just to start?
Absolutely, go for it.
There's a tiny trigger warning for this, I suppose, in that it's about marriage and divorce. You know, we've all got the well, I've all got the t-shirt, but yes.
Sorry to stop you really quickly. Does anyone else have the problem with the audio that I'm having, or is it just me?
No, I'm having it as well. It's a little bit.
Right, oh God. Shall I try and move to another room?
Maybe,
No.
if that's possible. Is it portable for you? It was
Yes,
fine.
I've got a laptop.
If you can't, don't worry. We can just see if we can listen.
Okay, I'll see what I can do elsewhere.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. That's really kind.
Okay. I'll unplug and move through the house, okay? I should switch off the video while I'm walking.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. And the sound.
The sound is not the connection, I think.
Happens to all of us. Thank you, Finola, for seeing if you can change just so that we can hear you for this final one tonight. Absolutely amazing. Whilst we are waiting though, let me tell you about our September event. So obviously we are off for July and August. And so our next one is in September, anyone who's been here before knows that we are the 4th Thursday of every month, which isn't always the last Thursday, but it's always the 4th Thursday of every month. Amazing, we've got Finola back. Do we want to see what it's like? Is that any better?
How does that sound? Does that sound better?
No,
No.
but you know what? That's okay. We'd still love to hear you. So do you want to go for it? Because
Yeah,
we've got the words on screen.
hang on.
You do? You want to try
Okay,
one more play?
walking
Okay.
about still.
Okay. So whilst Finola tries one more run, so it's the 4th Thursday of every month, and our next one's in September, and we have the magnificent Polly Atkin with us, and we are taking offers or kind of requests for being involved in our mini spotlight as well, which is that 10-minute slot that we've been talking about. Anyone can go for it. We'd love to hear you if you've got something to shout about. So I will put an email address in the chat for who to email if you want to get involved with that. How are you doing there, Finola?
Any better, to be honest.
No, but you know what? That's okay. So go for it, and we'll enjoy and love you anyway. And we've got your words as well, so we're sorted. Go for it.
I'll try not to call it. Sleep apnea. Nights fearful, broken, jigsaw dreams.
Yeah.
Exhausted, my friend waits for his machine to arrive
Waiting,
to
actually.
rescue him from breath stuttering. Breathe in, out. I took smooth breathing for granted, like ironing, until that yoga class. In, out. Those deep skull breaths that shine. The swell of lungs pressing my ribs. No atoms rib here. Those smack babies. First taste of alone. Or that slapped hysteric. Breathe out. The waiting. the bends. Marriage was apnea, all fine, laughter, love, sharing. Then stop. No countdown traffic lights. Pressure. Yes, I understand now. Doctors claim the mask can help if it can be tolerated. Tolerate. Inhale, exhale. Airlocked. Kick out. Kicked out. Waving. Drowning. Kick starting stops. Pressure drops. Such breathing. Without asbestos, without lizard-eyed watching or tongue biting, word fencing, children guarding, door slams. Tide rhythm. Exhale, calm. No more breathing stops. Quiet pit stops. Free breathing. This is kind of sad, but not meant to be sad. This is kind of meant to be quite positive. This is about myself looking after my mother. My turn now. Slowly folding, mum curves towards fetal. Pebble knuckles clutch the bathroom sink. Her bones are brittle, weary from holding the bulk of her belly, so often baby full. Time-faded freckles hoard long summer days. Her shriveled teats remember my touch. As I soap the flannel, I feel the tug, the turn. She bows her head, accepts this is her time. And I thought I'd end on a positive one. I wrote this for my granddaughter, the one we were in Stirling with today. It's mostly true. 98% of it's true. The girl who can talk to birds strides into the woods. Her unicorn bag packed with toy bread, seashells, magnifying glass. She's prepared. In dappled brightness, she stops and whistles. Her special whistle, the one the birds know, the one she taught them. A pigeon croos. She smiles, baby-boned arms outstretched. She twirls and curls, calls, flap your wings, birdies. Then up, up she flutters, all spangles and pink tutu. Perched, cloud high, she branch dances in flurries of blue tit, green finch, and red robin. Thank you very much for letting me read tonight.
Please unmute yourselves for the final reader of the evening and go absolutely wild for all of our incredible readers tonight. Woo! Utterly beautiful. And Finola, even though your audio wasn't good, like your words are brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing your work tonight. And thank you so much for coming. Absolutely brilliant to have you. Yes, I'm aware that I'm like half sunshine, half cave right now. I'm still here, I promise, and nothing's on fire. And it's been really lovely to have you with our final event before the summer break. Lots of things going on with TWOOMPH Poets over the summer, and please do check out the summer boot camp. I think you heard some of our readers say that they have been involved in them. They are utterly brilliant. It's free, so like please do go. I don't know if we've got any spaces left, but if we do, check that out. Utterly brilliant. So yes, we are taking requests for our mini spotlights in the autumn. So if you have something to shout about or would like to try a longer slot of 10 minutes, we're behind you all the way. So drop us a line at teaswomenpoets@gmail.com. That's in the chat. And our next event that you can find us at is Thursday 26th of September 2024. We're having a break over the summer because we're a very little team, So we try our very best, but we do sometimes need a little bit of a break to carry on with our other projects because none of us work full time on this. But we love you. We really enjoy making this space for you each month. And yeah, thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate you. If you, before you can go, if you would like to put in the chat what you've enjoyed, the kind of things that you've done, that'd be amazing, because testimonials are fantastic. We want to get the word out about TWOOMPH if you've enjoyed it. If you haven't enjoyed it, that's totally fine. You do not need to put a testimonial, but please do, because then we can quote you on socials. We can make everyone know how good this is, and we don't just disappear into the ether. That would be amazing. Put your socials as well in the chat if you haven't yet, to make sure that everyone can look through and find your socials and follow you and find out what you're up to. But thank you so much again for coming, and we really hope you have a lovely evening. Yeah, enjoy. Thank you very much, and go and get yourself some tea if you haven't had any tea. Make sure you're fed. But thank you so much.
Rue, it's Diane here. Can I just jump in?
Sure.
I'm one of the tutors on the boot camp, and this year's cohort has actually been already allocated places.
Oh, brilliant. So we're sorted. So sorry, you've missed it if you wanted to. That's brilliant, which is fantastic. But you will be able to see some of the stuff and the output that's coming out of that later. So I'm really pleased to hear that. Utterly fantastic. Thank you very much again. By the way, you're allowed to unmute yourselves. There's no formal bit to the end of this, so feel free. And yeah, and we will see you again soon.